I've discovered 5 habits that if you put these together in your day-to-day regular routines, you will literally make transformations in your life that you'd be amazed by. If you've been attempting to make changes in your life and you're kind of always looking for what can I do that is simple but truly changes and transforms the person that I am so I can have the life that I want, this is definitely going to be for you. I think you'll get a lot of benefit out of this. So these are going to be 5 habits that you can start to incorporate into your day-to-day life, your day-to-day routine. They're probably ones that you have not heard before. They're very focused on your mindset. And I know that sometimes that can sound a little like woo-woo, but when you focus on your mindset, your actions follow. So Ralph Waldo Emerson once said, sow a thought and you reap an action. Reap and sow an act and you reap a habit. Sow a habit and you reap a character, sow a character and you reap a destiny. And I know that Neville Goddard has also quoted this when talking about changing the way that you behave or the actions that you take based off of your state and your identity. And to really quickly kind of recap that, you behave in ways based on your mindset. Your brain is literally designed to say, hey, this is what we see. This is the what we're taking in, our perception. And because of that, we're going to behave in XYZ way. And so when you start to change your habits and your thoughts, your actions are going to follow. And when those actions follow and they align with the mindset that you're keeping, in the actions that you're taking, then you end up reaping a character, right? And that character is your destiny. And that means that you have the ability to change truly the way that your life is going and the trajectory that you have. So in this video, I'm going to give you 5 habits. They will truly change your life. Like, I'm so excited to share these. I think that they'll be super beneficial. Definitely stick around for the last one. It's one that you may have not heard before, at least in the context that it's going to be shared here. And it's of the utmost importance. If you don't follow that one, you don't have that one, you're likely not going to do any of this other stuff either. And you're not going to get the changes that you really want to make. So our first one is going to be meditation and breath work. And I know that you might kind of be like, I hear this one all the time. So a lot of people talk about needing to set up a meditation practice and put breath work into your life. But I want to explain a little bit why so that you are more likely to make this change and make this a habit in your day-to-day life. And the reason why is because when you go through meditation and breath work, you're literally teaching yourself how to regulate your emotions so that you can choose your mood. So there was in Power of Awareness by Neville Goddard, if you've ever read it, chapter 12 is one of my favorite quotes. And it's one I go back to when I'm reframing myself and focusing on the way that I'm behaving and am I embodying the person that I want to be. And he says there's an enormous difference between attention directed objectively and attention directed subjectively. And the capacity to change your future depends on the latter. When you are able to control the movements of your attention in the subjective world, you can modify or alter your life as you please. But this control cannot be achieved if you allow your attention to be attracted constantly from without. What does this mean? That means that when you learn how to choose where you're going to place your attention, not allow the external events that are happening to you say how you're going to place your attention, you are able to actually change your world. You're actually able to make, I want to make sure this thing is still on. Okay, good. You're actually able to make the changes that you want to make because you're placing your attention where you want to. And this is where breath work and meditation come in. So when you start this practice, you are actually building your meta awareness. And meta awareness is defined as the process of intentionally focusing on the contents of the consciousness to evaluate them. Okay, so what does that do? Well, that means that we are learning how to place our focus somewhere. We're saying, hey, my meta awareness is maybe going where I don't want it to go. When you have the meditation practice, the calming of the breath work practice, you're actually able to then shift where your mindset is. So I'm going to give you 2 meditation practices, and it includes breath work. I would recommend that you build these at least once, if not twice, into your day. And then you can start with a very small amount, right? Set a timer for 5 to 10 minutes, and you're going to sit down and begin with a breathing exercise. There's 2 that I'm going to share with you now. One is called a box breath, and that's where you breathe up through your nose, kind of hold it at the top of your head for a count of about 4 to 6. Then you're going to hold it for a count of 4 to 6, and then you're going to let it out through your mouth, count of 4 to 6, hold 4 to 6, in 4 to 6, and you go through this box, right? And so as you do that, you're actually telling yourself, that your nervous system truly, that it's okay to be calm, that we are good. And the more that you actually start to practice this breath work in your day to day, not just when you're getting ready for a meditation, like what I'm sharing now, but practice it when you're in traffic, somebody cuts you off, start doing your breath work. If you start feeling a little overwhelmed with the amount of laundry you have to do, or trying to get dinner prepared, or your kids are upset, or you feel like you're late getting to school and to work, start doing this breath work and you'll start to teach yourself how to calm yourself. And then when something bigger happens or things are not going the way you want, you're able to calm yourself, bring your awareness back to what you want to focus on. And sometimes that can be, I need to be calm so that I can address what is happening to me now. But I'm choosing to be calm and I'm choosing my reaction instead of allowing myself to be waffled around based on what's going on externally for me. So then the next breath work one that you can do, this one's my personal favorite, although I also do the box breath, is you take a big deep breath in through your nose, hold it at the top of your head, then take another quick breath in through the nose and hold it. It'll feel like you have no room left in your lungs. And then you're just going to slowly release it through your mouth. This is called a psychological breath. When you're getting ready to do a meditation, you set that timer for 5 to 10 minutes. You do one of these breathing exercises, right? Whichever one makes you feel calm. You can do them 3 to 6 times, right? Until you feel like, okay, I'm in this moment. I'm ready to move forward, right? And don't force yourself to move forward. If you try to go into this and you're like, I am not getting there, then just do the breath work. Just focus on your breath, right? So as your timer is going off, you've done these cleansing breaths. You are now calm. And now I want you to only focus on your breath. Feel where it enters your body, feel where it exits your body. This is actual meditation. You are telling yourself where you want to focus. You're not shutting off your mind. When your mind wanders, you're just going to bring it back to this moment. That's it. Mind wanders, bring it back. Nope, we're going to focus on the breathing for now. Eventually, you'll be able to move into longer periods of time. And then once your mind is a little bit more quiet, you can actually focus your attention on the desired outcomes, the wish fulfills that you have in your own life. You can start to visualize, but you want to get to this point first. The second one is that if you are somebody who struggles to focus internally, like on your breath, focus to something you can hear externally. So you do your breathing work, your timer is set, and then you are going to actually sit and just listen to something. So I may listen to like my dog snoring next to me, or I may listen to the birds chirping outside, or something along that nature. But you can always just pay attention to the listening so that you're not going so internal. That's also another good one if you're somebody who uses that in their day-to-day life. So then our second one is actually self-awareness, which I want to explain this one, of course, as well. So when you are becoming more self-aware of your behaviors, this is also your meta-awareness. When you look at the moments that we have in life, and when somebody says the only moment you ever have is the current one, it's because whatever you're doing, thinking, believing, feeling right now is truly your state, it's your identity. You don't want to try to say, I'm so desperate right now, I need something to change tomorrow. So I'm going to do these activities so that tomorrow it can change. I want you to consider the person that you want to be, and then look at the behaviors that you're holding right now. Are your behaviors that you have right now aligned at all with the person that you want to be? So let's say you want to be in a loving relationship and you want to feel very confident and loved and cherished in that relationship, but now you're finding yourself talking down to yourself. I'm not lovable. I'll never have anybody. The only person I could ever have is gone. I will just be alone forever. Okay, so that current behavior is not actually aligned to the person you want to be. So what can you do in this moment to more align yourself to who you want to embody, right? And this is the way that you start to actually shift your state. And then the next habits that we're going to get into help you in those moments. So it's like, okay, right now I'm not aligned to who I want to be. How do I want to feel when I go to bed? Am I behaving in that kind of behavior, or am I behaving in one completely opposite, in an opposition of that? And how can I change it? And so then that's going to go to our third one. And our third one is going to be gratitude and self-love. Now, I'm sure that you're like, Cecilia, I hear gratitude and self-love all the time. This is not a habit that I have not heard. but I want to expand it beyond toxic positivity, which I see rampant and was something that I fell into, right? I wanted changes in my life and I was like, oh, I'll just have to feel positive and good all the time. I can't feel anything's negative. And it just created like a mental battlefield for me. It got really frustrating and overwhelming. So instead, what I started to do was focus on my daily joys. Now, a daily joy is a list of something that you actually enjoy doing. It could be taking a bubble bath, drinking a hot cup of tea, reading a book, calling a friend, going for a walk, swinging at the park, petting your dog, playing the guitar, painting, whatever it is, but something that you can do for you. And you write out this list and you make a conscious choice each day to do something from that list. You say, I'm going to make a conscious choice to show up for me and do something for me. While you're doing that daily joy, I want you to spend 30 seconds to 2 minutes paying attention to what it feels like. Tune out everything else. What does your physical body feel like right now while you're doing this daily joy? And it's a wonderful practice to start building the actual feelings of gratitude versus this toxic positivity. You're just taking a small moment. The other thing it does for you is that dopamine is actually the chemical in our brain that is looking for something, right? It's anticipation, which is why we scroll so much because we're looking, it's that anticipation of what's next. So when you create a daily joy and you make a decision that I'm going to do this for myself and I'm going to pay attention to how it feels, you are truly setting yourself up for that dopamine hit. You are saying, yes, I have something to look forward to. This is going to be wonderful. So that is like gratitude. And the way that self love kind of builds into this is like making sure that you're doing something for yourself. You're showing up for yourself. And that's why I call it gratitude and self love, because anything you do for you is truly showing yourself that you love you and you're willing to move forward and do things for yourself. Because if you want to make an improvement, that shows right there that you have some love for yourself. If you didn't have any care in the world for you, you would not do any, you wouldn't care. Why would you care about changing? So if you're here listening to these, you're already starting that first act of self love. Our next one is going to venture into self care, which of course is very close to self love. Do not get me wrong, but it's going to go into the self care. And although bubble baths are fantastic, it's part of my daily joy, we're kind of expanding beyond the bubble bath. We're expanding beyond the face mask. We're expanding beyond, when people are like, oh, you could go to the grocery store or Target for like your self care. No, no, no. We're doing more than that. And we're going to start treating ourselves and our body very well. This is going to be the way that we're showing self care. And spend time outside. Cultivate some new hobbies. Do something that you've wanted to try. Expand outside of your comfort zone. Doing these types of things on a day to day basis actually grounds you not only in this moment, but also starts to build those gratitude feelings and makes you want to continue. Like you're starting to feel good. You're releasing good chemicals. You're showing up for yourself. And if you're anything like something that I struggled with for a very long time, you are able then to also connect to the ideal self that you want to be. And if you want some help, like with a journal, connecting to that ideal self, making sure that you are focused on who you want to be and that you know what you want, you have your outcome, you're aligning to that person you want to be. I actually have a free journal that you can download, completely free, no strings attached, but you can sign up for that down below. I guess there's one string, right? You send your email and I send it off to you. And then that'll also sign you up for my newsletters, which gives tips like these all the time. Make sure that you're connected to the content that I'm putting out, and also special offers that I don't really put on my channel that I just want to kind of write out here and there and tell people like, hey, here's a fun activity for us to do. Here's a way to challenge your mindset. So if you want to sign up for that journal, it's fantastic. You can definitely get it down below. I'll leave the link there. It just allows you to make sure that you're always connected to that outcome. It's a very good way to check in with yourself. And that is also definitely a form of self love, is by showing up for you repeatedly. Another one is to move your body more. Like we are here, this experience is very real. You definitely want to make sure that you are taking care of yourself and showing up for yourself. And then that also leads into like eating well. And then kind of what I believe is the biggest part is paying attention to the way you speak to and about yourself. I want you to start asking yourself questions, right? One of the questions, how do I want to feel when I go to bed at night? Am I aligned to the way that I want to feel? Is my current activity that I'm doing right now intending to be the person that I want to be? Which I think is huge. That's how we set intentions. Saying, is this person, is this behavior saying out to the universe, God, source, whatever you want to call it, this is who I intend to be? Because every action that you continue, every thought that you dwell in, everything that you continue with is saying, this is who I intend to remain as, or this is who I intend to change into. And so that's how you start making those choices. And by building all of these together, you're also building care for yourself. So it doesn't become this like obsessive, like, I'm not doing it right, I'm not doing it right. No, because every day you're building on it. Every day you're cultivating these new habits that are going to build this amazing life for you. And so, one of the questions, too, before I forget, is if I were talking to the most loved person, like the person I think is just wonderful, I think they're fantastic, they're beautiful, they're amazing, they're fun, I love them. Would I say this to them? Would I look at my child and say, you're not worthy? You can't do that. You need to keep yourself down. You don't want to be seen. You need to be quiet. You don't look good when you do this. No. And that's such an important question. Would I treat the person I love the most like this? Would I talk to them like this? And you should love yourself just as much as you love them, right? You should definitely have love for yourself. And now we're going to get to the last one, which, as I said before, is like the most important, because if you don't do this one, you're not going to do any of the other ones. It's keeping promises. You need to keep your promises. So when you tell yourself you're going to do something, you need to actually follow through with it. And this is something, I'm going to be perfectly honest and transparent. I was awful at this. I would make plans and not do them. I would have plans of habit changes I was going to do, not do it. I would say I was going to do something, not do it. Go to the gym, not do it. Eat better, not do it. And it was like constant disappointment in myself. And I began to not trust myself. And so I had to start saying, what is the smallest thing that I can do today to align to the person I want to be? Just one. And if that means I walk around the block for 10 minutes, I walk around the block for 10 minutes. If that means I write out affirmations, that means I write out affirmations. If that means I just start asking myself, am I aligned to who I want to be, and switching that up when I'm not, then that's what I do. And the more that I returned to that, the more that I found I was showing up for myself and I was keeping the promises to myself. And the more that I kept the promises to myself, the more that everything started to manifest in my life, the more that things started to come together. And I started to actually see the fruits of my labor. I started to see things build and become for me. And it was really fantastic. So if you notice, all of these 5 habits that will, I swear, change your life, all come back to being aware of your behaviors, being aware of yourself, focusing on your mindset. Because remember, when you focus on this, your actions are going to follow. So think about it. If you ask yourself, what am I intending right now? Is it the person that I want to be? And if that answer is no, and you change that, your action now is following your new habit. It's following your new thought, your new belief. So if you have any questions, definitely leave those down below. If you like this kind of content, follow. I have tons more coming up. I'm super excited about all of it, if I'm going to be perfectly honest with you. And if you do have questions that you would prefer not to put on YouTube, you can always shoot me an email. It's unleashinghappiness@ceciliahendricks.com. I hope that you have a beautiful, beautiful week, and I wish you nothing but the very best.